Hey there folks, and welcome to Life is Feudal. This is a game that was just released on Steam Early Access. This is a game I've actually had my eye on for a very long time. It's been in closed alpha for quite some time, and it's a very interesting concept for a game. It is a sandbox game, like a lot of games that have been coming out recently, except this particular game, unlike Rust or 7 Days to Die, doesn't really have an enemy. The enemy is other players, and the whole point of the game, as the game title suggests, Life is Feudal, is a pun on the feudal times and the Middle Ages, is that this takes place during the Middle Ages. And what you're doing is, there are several modes. There's a sandbox mode, and there's a colonization mode, which is where you just are dropped off on this island and you have to create your own feudal empire. You can create castles, houses, and everything. It's kind of like Minecraft in a way. The graphics are kind of like 7 Days to Die, except the challenge is to work together as a community to create a castle and protect yourself from other clans and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of options and a lot of things to this game, so we're going to take a look at that. So, right now we're going to create a new player. Right now we're just on a private little sandbox world. Eventually I would like to do a let's play in a server with some friends of mine, but we'll see if we can do that. But right now we're just going to have this is our character right now. There's not too many options for what he can look like and what you can do, and yes, it is a he because the gender is coming soon. You can only have a, I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be a male. He's probably genderless right now. So name, we're gonna be Pat. Whoops, not PSY. Pat, with the family name Imperator. Gender is going to be whatever we can be. We can be several different races. And they have a nice description for each race that you want to choose. We'll just choose the default, or the one that's not necessarily default. It's just they're in alphabetical order, so we're going to take the top one that starts with A. Appearances, you can't do much with that. Well, you can add items. Well, you could, but you will be able to. Attributes, these are things you can change, and these affect your gathering, attacking, so on and so forth, because there's everything from gathering, farming, mining. It's kind of like Minecraft in that sense. In fact, this game's a lot like Minecraft because, well, I suppose in Minecraft there are technically enemies in the game that are NPCs, but if you ever play on a server, the main enemy are, well, other players, so that's going to be very similar to this, and also very similar to Rust. I mean, Rust does have zombies. Well, it used to have zombies. Now it has, like, red painted bears and wolves and stuff. But the main enemy in Rust is, or are enemy players, and you can work together and so on and so forth to make cool communities, and that's going to be very similar with this game, except you have a whole bunch more options than you do in Rust, so... Alright, and considering this is an alpha, it's pretty far along. I mean, sure there are going to be bugs and it's not completed, but it's a pretty good game as it stands right now. So, we have attributes. We have strength, agility, constitution, willpower, and intelligence. I like having a little bit of strength. Agility's nice, constitution is alright, intelligence is also nice. We're going to bump that up a little bit. Try to make it pretty even, and this is very much an MMO, as in when you do things, it increases skill levels. So, if you do a lot of one thing, that the particular skill level involved with that one task will go up immensely. So, also crafting skills. There's prospecting, which is for ores, finding different types of ores, whether it be iron, copper, silver, gold, so on and so forth. And that's pretty useful. Forestry is very useful because that allows you to cut down trees, different types of trees, do different things with wood. Nature's lore is kind of foraging, which is very useful in the beginning. Terraforming is also fairly useful because you can terraform the land just like you can in Minecraft, so you can make things flat, and the more terraforming skill you have, the less time it takes to do such a thing. Farming, we'll get to farming eventually, but because we don't have we won't have a lot of things that we need to start farming, such as plows, seeds, and so on, we're not going to prioritize that. I'm gonna bump up terraforming a bit. Prospecting we're gonna need for finding iron, so there we go. Okay, that's gonna be fine. Alright, that will do just fine. And we have combat skills. So warhorse handling, that affects how well you can ride your horse. Militia service, well, this thing will kind of help you with this, but we're gonna increase our militia service. We're not gonna be using throwing weaponry too much. Two-handed blades, not too much at the start, but blades at the start certainly, and militia service. We're not gonna have horses to begin with, so we're gonna increase the militia service until we... Okay, that'll be good. Maybe a little bit of throwing weaponry might be alright. Two-handed mastery, bladed mastery. There we go. Okay, that should be fine for our player. And you can zoom in and out. Look at your person. I think that'll be fine. You can't really customize them yet too much, but... Okay, so that's our name. We are Pat the Imperator. And we're going to be loading the world. So I'll see you guys back when we're in the world. Alright, here we are. We just popped into the Life is Feudal world, and you can press F1 for the controls. Right now we're going to tell it to not show us all this pop-ups, because the pop-ups get annoying. And you can see everything that you need to see in the system chat right here. There's also local chat and global chat if you are playing with people. And right now, just because I'm showing you the game, we're not going to actually use the chat right now. And it looks like we got a couple of achievements. Alright, and the first thing that you kind of want to do is you kind of want to look around and you kind of want to find some flint. That is a very important thing, because you use flint to basically make your basic tools. So what you want to do is you want to right click. In fact, let me go into a third person view. Yep, this is you. Let me actually go through the controls a little bit. So if you press P, it brings up your person, your stats, and so on. If you press I, it brings up your inventory, and we have a little cloak. So what we're going to do is we're going to press T, which brings up our equipment menu, and we're going to drag our cloak onto our person, and as you can see, there's a little timer bar. He puts on his cloak, and... Come on. Huzzah! There we go. And also, from this button, you can also just do View Inventory, because you use this a lot. And one thing that is interesting about this inventory, you have slots, 4 out of 128. However, there are no little slots to move this. Like, there are no little squares to just pop these in, so you can move these around wherever you want, which is an interesting feature. I don't know if it's necessarily better than any other game that I've played, but it's an interesting thing. Also, if you ever go into your inventory, your mouse automatically goes out of mouse aim mode, so you have to press tab to bring it back into mouse aim mode. And if you hold your right click, as you can see, there is a little square that's highlighted, and I can move it around. If we go into the green grassy territory, we have all of these different things that we can do. We can set snare, track weak animal, gather wild plants, plow. However, some of these things we can't do because we don't have the tools. We have terraforming, we have nature's lore, which means you can gather plant fiber, which is what we're going to do. We can create a campfire, we can prospect for copper. What we're going to do right now is we're going to gather plant fiber, because plant fiber is necessary for making the basic tools that you need, such as a basic sickle, basic shovel, basic hammer, basic pickaxe, which you will use to gather resources. Alright, and what we're also going to do, we are going to gather some flint, which you can only find in these little rocky terrains. So, prospecting, search for useful flintstone. So that's what we're going to do. Also, if you look right here, I hope you can see my cursor, there is something that says 94 out of 100. That is your health, or your hunger rather. So once that gets low enough, you're going to need to eat. Also, it says you have failed to find anything, so that is unfortunate. So we're going to look for more flint over... Well, that's where we just searched for flint. So let's prospect, search for useful flint. And the better your prospecting skills are, the quicker this goes, and the more likely you are to find something. So that's where these skills come into play. Alright, you have received 1 flint stone, as it says in our little system chat. Prospecting has increased by 18 point whatever to 40.18. Same with intelligence, strength, it is increased. So the more you do stuff, the more your skills go up, just like in most MMOs, which is kind of cool. And I really do like the idea of this game quite a bit. And right now it might seem kind of drab and boring, but the fact that you can build massive castles and everything, and you can build massive mines and all sorts of stuff is pretty cool, at least in my opinion. I'm going to search for more flintstone. We're also going to need to search for some food, as well as some sticks, which we can find on trees. And eventually when we get an axe, we can start cutting down trees. So right now we're going to gather some more plant fibers, and then we're going to search for something edible. Hopefully we find something. And right now he's just punching the ground because he doesn't have any tools to make it faster. You ever seen one plant fiber, so that's good. Prospecting, forestry, nature's lore, gather some more plant fiber. Also, if you just press E, you will just, well, we'll show you what happens when you press E. It does your default thing. It just says, prospect for silver, which we don't necessarily want to do. And that's what it defaults to right away. It's a very pretty game, too. I mean, it almost looks as though it's in the Arma engine, but it certainly doesn't feel that way, which is good, because the Arma engine can feel a bit wonky and clunky at times. And right now I am highlighting this tree, and we can get a sprout, which means we can plant trees from the sprout. We can inspect the tree, which we'll actually do, and we'll snap off a branch as well. But when we inspect the tree, we will actually find out what's in the tree. Okay, so you see a major spruce tree. The estimated quality is 65. It has been chopped down at 0%, which means it hasn't been chopped down at all. It contains the following resources: 2 barks, 4 branches, and 1 tree sprout. So what we're going to do is we're going to snap off a couple of these branches because we need them to make our axes and so on and so forth. Our hunger is still fine, so we're not going to search for food yet. And the reason we're also going to snap off a couple of branches because we use branches to make campfires, which we can cook food over. So we're going to do this to a couple of trees. And we'll also get some bark as well. I believe we use bark for some things. I forgot exactly what we use them for, but I know that we do use them. And as you can see, the more that we do this, the more our skills increase. I mean, sometimes they don't increase by a lot, but forestry, we need a branch. I think we can collect 1 more branch from this tree, and 1 more bark from this tree. And then we'll move on. And just imagine this with quite a few more players, some of them wanting to kill you, some of them wanting to help you and build bases together. So it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to get a server set up and start recording this for you guys in a proper environment. But right now this is just a little introductory for those of you who might be interested in the game. Alright, snap off 1 more branch, see if we have any more branches yet to snap on this tree. And we still have to show you the crafting yet. Okay, there's nothing left to gather. We got all the things we can gather from that. Well, our hunger is going down a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Nature's Lore, search for something edible. And because my Nature's Lore is not that high of a skill, it's going to take a little bit longer. Failed to find anything. Let's search here. Search for something edible. Cool little birch trees over there. And yes, those birch trees are different than the other trees. They don't just look different. They have different properties to them as well. Couldn't find anything. Some of these trees are hard trees, some of them are softwood trees, and they do make a difference when cutting them down, depending what tools you have. Alright, did we find anything? There's nothing left to gather. Well, let's go down here. Sometimes it's easier to find it where there is flatter terrain. Prospecting, Nature's Lore, search for something edible. we'll find something edible eventually. There we go. We found one edible taproot. Let's see if we can find something else to eat. Search for herbs, which is another thing we can do. And we use herbs for a multitude of things as well. Failed to find anything. That's alright. So, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the crafting system. And as you see, there's just stuff spread all over my inventory. You can combine them together, and they form stacks. So we have 4 sticks, 3 flint, 2 plant fiber. We have, what is this? Oh, that's bark. And we have, what is it? Oh, that's the edible taproot, which we can eat. As you see, our hunger will go up a little bit, or rather, it will go down the amount that we need. You're nearly stuffed. Okay, apparently we're not going to eat that because we're still nearly stuffed. Eventually we can eat it, though. And back to the crafting. So what we can do is we can create a primitive tool. We can also do things, forestry, create a primitive tool, create a snare, or we can just drop it. What we're going to do is we're going to create a primitive tool, and we can select things from the drop-down menu. We're going to create a primitive, well, let's do an axe first. So we have 4 sticks, we have 3 flint, and we have 2 plant fibers. We need 2 plant fibers, we need 1 flint, and we need 1 stick. So we're going to craft this. And take a look. We're probably going to need a primitive saw as well. And we're going to see what we need for that in just a moment, as soon as this is done being made. And there we go. So primitive saw. We're going to need plant fibers for sure, which we don't have. We're going to need 7 flint. So we're going to have to go mining. And we're going to have to go get some more plant fibers, which is not hard because there's plant fibers generally everywhere. So where was that little stony upcrop? I think that was over here somewhere. Also, if you look in the hotbar on the bottom of the screen, there's something that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are different actions you can do. And if I press R, you go into our combat stance. And we can press R again and we go out of it. And we don't have any weapons in our hands, so if I press these, it doesn't do anything. However, I can press 5. And I also can press 6.
No more, I yield!
Which is saying I surrender, essentially. And eventually we can get up from that. And that's just, I guess, an act of trying. If you want to go up to somebody and you don't want to frighten them, that's one way to do it. Okay, let's see. Alright. Alright, I think I will have to wait until the cooldown is done before I can actually start gathering things again. So, I'll be back in just 1 second. Alright, and now we can go prospecting for more of the flint that we need. So prospecting, search for useful flint. We need, I believe, 4 more flint, at least. Because we're going to use more than a saw, or we're going to build more than a saw, so we're going to use more than just 4 flint. So we're just going to find as much as we can. Prospecting, search for useful flint. Also, you can find sling ammo if you have a sling in this area. We're also going to want to build a shovel so we can show you some of the terraforming that you can do as well. So prospecting, find some more flint. Alright, we found more flint. Before we do that, we're going to just press T, bring up our inventory, and we're going to drag and drop the axe into one of our slots. I'm going to drag it into that slot. I know we're not going to use it to search for flint, but we're just going to have it on us in case we ever need to use it. We can use it as a weapon as well in case we encounter anything that we need to kill. Also, speaking of killing, you can go hunting in this game too, which is kind of cool. Haven't found any animals yet, so it might be kinda difficult to hunt. But you can also go fishing as well. If you want to do some food scavenging other than hunting and farming. Oh, I failed to find anything. I'm guessing this particular area is going to be out of flint. And these areas will rejuvenate eventually. Each server has a specific timer on it that it waits for until it rejuvenates each square. So you don't really necessarily mine out an area because it will eventually come back. Alright, got one more flintstone. Let's find some more flint, and then we need some plant fibers. We also need some more sticks too, because we need to make a fire, because I would like to show you how to build things in this game. Alright, that's nature's lore. Gather some plant fibers. Also, if you see the green bar at the bottom of your screen, that's your endurance. If you did not know that. Gather some more plant fiber. I think I failed to find anything last time, so I'll need to move on to a different square. Yep, let's move on to this one. Gather some of that plant fiber. We'll need probably 4 or 5 of it to build all the tools that we want. Nope, failed to find anything. Let's go into a lower area. Sometimes the highlands, which are these areas over here, you have trouble finding nature type things, so I'm going to a lower valley over here. I don't know if these work in biomes or how they work, but you generally do find, or it's easier to find things in flatter land when using nature's lore. Gather plant fiber? At least that's what I've found. There we go. We got 1 wild plant fiber. See, I'm not crazy. It is easier to find plant lore, or plant fiber, when in flatter areas. Or, should I say, less elevated areas. I don't know exactly the coding behind it, but it sure does seem to work. And that's the same thing when searching for edible plants. These lower areas, you seem to find them easier. Nope, failed to find anything. Let's do one more. I think we need one more for the... Oh, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. Gather plant fiber. Our hunger's down to 83, so we should be able to eat something. There we go. Found one more wild plant fiber. So let's open up our inventory. Let's create a primitive tool. We have an axe, so let's make a saw. Alright, we have exactly everything we need for a saw. And now we'll see, what do we need for a shovel? Well, I'm going to do that as soon as this is done being made. There we go, we got a primitive saw. Now let's look at a shovel, because we want to do some terraforming this episode. So just one of each, so that's not bad at all. Okay, taproot, let's see if we can eat you. And we did. We're up to 96, so that increased our hunger by quite a bit. Or increased our fullness, rather. Let's do some nature's lore, gather plant fiber. Alright. We'll go back to the rocky outcrop. Okay, we got some 1 wild plant fiber. Let's go to the rocky outcrop, get ourselves 1 more flint, and then we'll chop down a tree after we snap off 1 branch, and then we'll be able to build a shovel, and we'll be able to do some terraforming, we'll be able to cut down a tree, and we'll be able to build stuff with a with the saw. Hopefully, that is. And as I reiterate before, the more that you do these things, the quicker the little timer will go, because the more your skills will be. Okay, we got one flintstone. Also, let's go on our person. Here we go. Here's this crafting and skills. This shows you what you need. For prospecting, level 0, you speed of prospecting actions can prospect for copper ore and probe tunnel walls. If you're level 30, you can prospect for iron and increase prospecting range. Level 60 can do that for silver and increase range. Level 90 can prospect for gold. Level 100, slightly increased prospecting range. And then you can go, there's mining as well, slightly improved chance to find rare minerals, so on and so forth. So there's a very nice tech tree that you go up and up and up, and it's pretty cool. And there are all these different things that you can get. Right now, for terraforming, speed of terraforming actions can raise and lower terrain, can flatten terrain, can dig tunnels, which is very nice when you are a miner. This is not implemented yet, Some of these things have not been implemented because, well, it's still an alpha. Nature's lore can spot pristine herbs, fresh herbs, so on and so forth. Common herbs can find ingredients on animal bodies. Speaking of animals, we can set traps as well. Can spot fresh herbs, and so on and so forth. Well, I could go on with the skill tree for days, but we're not going to do that, because we want to get to some of this other stuff. So forestry, we need to snap off a couple of these branches. We need 1 branch for the shovel and 5 branches for the campfire that we're going to make. Okay, there we go. So that's 1, so now we need an additional 5. Also, if I go here and do prospect, or rather terraforming lower ground level, it says you need a proper tool, shovel, for that action. You see that in the chat. So, although it gives you the option for these things, you really can't do anything with them. You could observe, and also for hunting and fishing you could set a snare, but actually, I guess I do have enough stuff. Don't set the snare. Oh crap. Well, I guess we set a snare. That means I'm gonna have to get more plant fiber. I forgot that you can just simply set snares if you have the proper things in your inventory. Oh well. Okay, there we go. Forestry, snap off a branch. Let's see what is in our inventory. We have 2 fibers. I'm going to have a couple more sticks in a bit. There we go. 3 sticks. Forestry, snap off a branch. We need a total of 6 sticks. Alright, see if we have any more branches left in this guy, otherwise we'll have to move to another tree. Alright, once we get 5, we're actually just going to snap off the final branch, and then we're going to cut down the tree. Hopefully this actually has another branch on it, and if it doesn't, we'll just cut down the tree and we'll find the branch elsewhere. Okay, we have 6. Perfect. So, what we're going to do now is we go to forestry, or I'm sorry, should be able to cut this down now that we have an axe in our hand. Maybe let's go to a different tree. I think that is a hardwood tree, which we might not be able to cut down. The pine trees over here we should be able to cut down. Let me see, can we cut down this one? Forestry, snap branch, logging, get bark. Okay. Let's go over here. These pine trees are a softer wood, so we should be able to do this. I know I've cut down trees with a wooden axe, or a stone axe before. Yeah, here we go. Cut down. And as you see, our endurance is going down. Hopefully we can cut it down. And we did. So as you can see, we have softwood tree log. Owner, the Imperator Pat. So, we can saw out billet, saw out a board, saw out a building log. lift an object. Let's just saw out a billet. Oh, I need a saw for this action, so what I'm going to do is put you in there. So we equip our saw. Completely forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me, game. Okay, carpentry. I'll saw out a building log, why not? Alright, there we go. You have failed to produce something useful out of that. Oh, that's a shame. So, well, I guess we'll cut down some more stuff, but first I want to show you how to build a campfire. So, create a... Where do we want? Forestry. Torch. Well, we have it. It was in here somewhere. Okay. I may not actually have the proper... Oh, cool. I didn't realize you had footprints. Ooh. I may not have the skills to make a campfire. I did have the skills last time I made a character. I'm just going to be back in a little bit just to see if I do. Okay, yes I do. What I was doing wrong is all I need to do is right-click on an area, or a little square, and go to Forestry, Create Campfire, Build. Whoop. And build it. There we go. And we can select where we want to build it, rotate it, so on and so forth, but that's just fine. So we're going to do that. And you see it won't actually build it. We actually have to go up to this, right-click on it, create campfire. We have to bring up our inventory, and we have to drag the required things into the slot. There we go, build. And it will build it. Ta-da! We have ourselves a campfire. The first thing that we built in this game so far. Pretty cool. Alright, also, we are going to create a primitive tool. We're going to build that shovel we were talking about earlier. Alright, we have enough for that. And we're going to do some terraforming. Really can't do too terribly much with these primitive shovels, but we still can do some stuff. Just to highlight what we can do, we're going to do it. Also, if you notice, when we start off the game, we start off with some cookies, so we don't starve right away, which is kind of cool. Also, we're going to get rid of the saw, put it in our inventory, and we'll put the shovel in our inventory instead. There we go. That's an awkward looking shovel, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. So let's say we want to dig down a little bit for some strange reason. Terraforming lower ground. And the more you do this, obviously, the more skills you'll get, and the better you will get at it, and the more useful you will be when you want to mine something. Well, it lowered it a little bit. Terraforming. Hey, now we have different options, because I think we increased our level enough. Isn't that cool? Well, that was barely noticeable, but we can keep on digging down. Alright, so that is that. Let's see if we can cut down another tree. Is this another pine tree? It is. Forestry. Logging. Cut down. There we go. And we have this. And there, as you see, there's a little timer on there that indicates how long that only you can interact with it. After that time, it's anyone's fair game, so they can gather that log as well. Ooh, what's that? Fertile soil. Well, it looks like we've gathered soil from digging down, which I suppose would happen. And you can use that for farming, but you can also use it for building up things as well. So let's saw out a billet. See if we can get anything useful from it. You have received one softwood billet. Well, we're going to keep on doing this until we've expended this entire little softwood tree. Which is nice, and maybe we'll be able to actually build something with this billet. Or use it for something. We're overburdened. Okay, so we're going to have to drop stuff eventually because we have a lot of billet on us. Alright, just going to take a look. We have 7 of these logs. Let's see what we can actually do with them. Carpentry was not raised. Prerequisite skill level is too low. Okay. Okay, that's enough. You can stop now. Here we'll there. You'll stop when I remove your saw from your inventory. There we go. Okay. So what can we do with this? Not too much at the moment. We can pour this on the ground, which we don't need, so... Oh, I need a shovel, so I'll put the shovel in my hand, and we will pour the dirt on the ground. Pour on ground. Oh, of course. Can I still move? Yes, I can still move when we're overburdened, but I can't run. And as you see, there's a little dirt pile behind me, which is kind of cool. There we go. We created a dirt pile. Good job, us. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to the tree and gather some sticks to see what we can do with this billet. Let's see here. Snap a branch. Alright, 1 branch has been received. And there is our campfire. Add some fuel. Let's bring in our inventory. We'll put some billet in there, probably would work. Light on. There we go. We'll extinguish it. So the billet can be used to as fuel for fire. So let's see. What else? Forestry, hunting, general actions. Oh, create a primitive tool. I'm guessing I will need to make a hammer if I want to actually build anything, so I think that will be in the next episode as we adventure our way into Life is Feudal. So, thank you folks for watching, and I will see you folks next time.